Now we have some truly shocking news to share with you guys today, and clearly the landscape of WWE that we have come to know over the past several months since Triple H took over as the head of creative could be changing drastically in the near future, and this breaking news is surely going to upset many wrestling fans. Now, for those of you who have not heard the news yet, it was reported just yesterday that Vince McMahon is planning a return to WWE very soon, likely to resume his role in the company as the man in charge behind the scenes. As many of you are aware, Vince McMahon stepped away from WWE and seemingly retired back in July of this year, when all those allegations were going around regarding McMahon, and since then Triple H stepped up and took over for WWE as the new head of creative, with Hunter making most of the decisions for the main roster of Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown since July. However, with this breaking news that Vince McMahon could be planning to come back to WWE in the near future, Triple H's role as the head of creative for WWE, as well as all of his work that he's done since taking over this role, may be all for naught, and Vince McMahon may very well soon be taking over Triple H's role as the head of creative for WWE, if Vince was actually to return and once again resume the roles he had with WWE, which included overseeing creative and making all of the big decisions and calls. And by the sounds of it, most fans on social media are very unhappy at the possibility of Vince coming back and basically removing Triple H from his newfound roles in WWE. Here's the exact quote from one of our sources regarding Vince possibly planning a WWE return in the not-so-distant future. Quote, "Vince McMahon has also told people that he intends to make a comeback at WWE, saying he got bad advice from people close to him to step down, and that he now believes the allegations and investigations would have blown over had he stayed." Triple H has certainly been doing a great job since becoming the head of creative for WWE this past summer, and things shifted very quickly after Hunter took over control, with Triple H not only bringing back many previously released WWE superstars that Vince McMahon had wasted, but also began booking much more intriguing storylines and feuds on Raw and SmackDown, and developing many superstars' characters to be far more interesting, most recently including former Mr. Money in the Bank Austin Theory, who had ditched the doomed to fail selfie gimmick that Vince gave Theory, and Triple H has instead given Theory a much more serious character that will likely see Austin achieve far more success in WWE. Triple H has quite literally shifted WWE in a very positive way, and it seems like most fans are in full agreement that Triple H has made WWE better since taking over the roles and responsibilities that Vince McMahon had in WWE, especially when it comes to creative for Raw and SmackDown. However, things may unfortunately be changing very soon, with this news of Vince McMahon possibly returning. With that being said, even when Vince McMahon had announced his sudden retirement from WWE back in July, there's no doubt that lots of fans really questioned Vince McMahon's retirement, and whether or not Vince would remain retired or try to find a way back to the company, with many feeling like Vince would never truly retire from WWE, and that he was simply announcing the retirement to get out of the spotlight when all the news about him started to go around, and that at the time it would have reflected very bad on WWE had Vince McMahon remained in charge, with everything that was going on. However, clearly McMahon feels enough time has passed since his supposed retirement from WWE, hence why all of these shocking rumors are now going around that Vince McMahon could be on his way back to the company sooner than a lot of fans think. And if that were to happen, WWE would certainly be changing in a huge way, and likely not in a great way, which is why many fans are completely against the idea of Vince coming back to take over the reins of WWE on the main roster. Triple H really made a huge difference in WWE in a lot of ways, including making all the premium live events feel special and important, bringing back tons of released talent that Vince had wasted, gave lots of underutilized superstars fantastic booking and storylines, and simply created some must-see tense storylines on Raw and SmackDown. By all means, most fans attribute WWE improving over these last several months to Triple H taking over as the head of creative for the company, and fans are now very worried about the thought of Vince taking over control of WWE, and what it would mean for all of Triple H's hard work. Some fans even voiced their opinions on social media that the sole reason they started watching WWE again recently is because of the news of Vince McMahon stepping down and retiring, and Triple H moving into a position of power behind the scenes in WWE, and that Vince McMahon's version of WWE over the last few years was the reason why they simply stopped watching. But again, things may very well be changing again in a major way soon with all of these rumors, and it has been reported by a new backstage report that Triple H is very upset and worried at this news of Vince McMahon possibly returning, as he's scared that all of his hard work will be for nothing, and that Vince would be changing so many of the things that Triple H worked hard to fix over these last several months in WWE. If these new reports are true and Vince McMahon is actually going to be returning to WWE in the near future, do you believe that Vince would take over control from Triple H and resume all of the roles he had in WWE prior to his sudden announcement of retiring? Or do you feel like Vince would keep Triple H in charge of creative for the main roster, with the success Hunter has been having lately in WWE, and also because of all the backlash from fans that Triple H should remain in charge of creative, and that they would stop watching WWE if Vince McMahon took over these roles in the company again? Regardless, many believe that WWE would change for the worse if Vince returns, and basically removes Triple H from power behind the scenes, because a serious complaint that fans had while Vince McMahon was still in charge was that he simply was out of touch with what wrestling fans want to see in this day and age, and that the way Vince booked things was lackluster and downright detrimental to the company overall, with Vince booking many rather boring storylines and also ruining tons of promising call-ups from NXT with terrible booking and direction, with most of those said NXT call-ups being flat out released from WWE. Now, some fans are speculating that we may be jumping to conclusions when it comes to Vince McMahon's possible return to WWE soon, as some believe that Vince would not be coming back to take over control from Triple H and would instead be coming back for an on-screen television role of some kind, or for some storyline that WWE have in the works, which some feel would not be the worst thing and could actually be alright if done well. However, if Vince McMahon is intent on removing Triple H from that position of power backstage in WWE and taking over control for the main roster, there's no doubt that most wrestling fans will be up in arms and very upset about it, as most do feel like Triple H has done exceptionally well in this role and has helped improve WWE in a huge way, and for all of Triple H's work to go down the drain would be a very sad and unfortunate sight for many fans. However, let us know your thoughts on the rumors of Vince McMahon's return, and do you feel that Vince coming back and taking over Triple H's roles in WWE would be a good thing for the company overall, or would this be a very bad decision on WWE's part, and that the company could be in serious trouble with Vince McMahon back at the helm of WWE? Let us know.